Yeah, hello. So we're gonna play Lufia Rise of SNES. This is the second game in the Lufia series. We're not gonna play the main story. We are gonna play, which is basically an optional dungeon, but once you finish the game twice, it is also like a standalone, mini game of sorts. So yeah, that should be fun. The point of this is there are 99 floors. On the final floor, there's a boss that you need to defeat in 3 turns, and you can choose whichever characters and up to 4, whichever you want to take. So all 99 or 98 floors are randomized. The last floor is always the same, of course. So the items you find from in the chest, they are randomized. Zack won't know the floor layouts, neither will I. So right at the start here, he's picking up some items. So you try to get a couple of decent weapons, offensive spells, healing spells, etc. You know, your standard RPG stuff. Whenever you take a step, a monster can take a step or 2 steps, or they walk in a pattern. So whichever pattern they walk in is always the same. So Zack will do his best to manipulate them as good as possible. If there are any questions in chat, definitely feel free to ask. There's a lot of stuff to go over. I might miss something. It's already getting pretty late here, and it was a bit on short notice, but ooh. So this is interesting. We find a blue chest here. In the blue chest, they have different items than a red chest. Some of them are really good. Some of them can be completely useless. A Gorgon rock. So not a Gorgon rock, which is also an item, but the Gorgon rock is pretty mediocre. But at this point, anything is alright, honestly. So Zack also got a fire ring, and the fire ring is really interesting because a fire ring, as you can imagine, makes fire spells stronger. So that's really, really sweet. So Zack isn't trying to go for world record pace now in this run. Like I said, everything is randomized. So like I said, you don't know what the floor layouts and the monsters and stuff are gonna be like. So he needs to be a bit careful. Like here at the start, he will grab more items, kill more monsters. You know, build a safety buffer, because nowhere in the run, like between floor 1 and 99, nowhere you can save. And if you die, you go back to floor 1, or actually you get kicked out. So you, there are no safeties. But Zack is a really experienced runner, really good. So I'm glad he is playing rather than me. Because I would be rather nervous during throughout the entire run. So these early floors are really calm though. Like I said, looking for more stuff. So an interesting thing, this game is kind of notorious within the community for being quite glitchy and having its bugs and stuff. One of the things is that in the first 9 floors, excuse me, you can find helmets, rings, shields, and jewels. From floor 10 and onward, you can't find those anymore. So you always want to, from red chest that is, so you always want to choose whether you, you spend more time on the earlier floors or whether you just go for it. So far, the run isn't that exciting yet, honestly. He got a Gale, which is the weakest ice spell, if I'm not mistaken, which is good to have because later on there are enemies that are really resistant to two melee attacks, basically physical attacks, but they will instantly die to any spell you throw at them, any damaging spell that is. They will spawn from floor 11, so once we encounter those, I will explain a bit more about them. How do you beat the game? You go to floor 99 and you kill the final boss there. So the final boss, I don't know if Zack fought any of them, I don't think he did, is basically a magnified red jelly. The red jelly is the first monster you will encounter in the entire game. Yeah, I guess the developers thought that was fun. I do it. I enjoy it. I like the joke they did there. But anyway, you need to kill the boss within 3 turns, and he doesn't even attack you, but he has 10,000 health. And if you don't kill him, then yeah, he runs away. There is a way to manipulate the Ancient Cave. That's a good question. However, Zack hasn't done it because it's actually really tricky. And yeah, I don't know if Zack is able to do it, but I know for a fact that I'm not. I can basically manipulate the first floor, and that's it. So we're not doing it this run. So Zack has literally no knowledge about yeah, what's coming up basically. Yeah, the EU version is definitely definitely better than the NA version. Absolutely, the NA version is quite notorious. A Fatal Pick is an interesting pickup. So a Fatal Pick along with a nice swing there, Zack. I think Zack is happy. A Fatal Pick together with the Deadly Rod and one of the Deadly Swords, there's also a fake Deadly Sword. They have the ability to instantly kill an enemy that isn't undead 80% of the time. And you need to read that in, you know, quotation marks, because 80% is not really 80%. When you're running, it feels more like 50, but it's an amazing pickup. The Deadly Rod is a better pickup, because when you actually equip deadly weapons and a couple of other weapons, they are cursed, which of course means that you can't take them off anymore. Ooh, he triggered the Mimic. You need to be a bit careful now, because Mimic's actually quite strong. Yeah, so there's an item called Curse Lifter that will take the deadly item off. But the Deadly Rod gains an ability that is really useful for the jelly fight, where the Fatal Pick doesn't. So as you can see, different enemies have different movement patterns. For example, these Mimics, they are completely stationary, and they only move towards you when you get in their proximity. I believe it's 3 tiles away, or 4 tiles, something like that. Within their proximity. I always do it on feeling, honestly, rather than knowledge. But then they will keep chasing you even if you're outside the actual room. So most enemies will become stationary. Nice firing with the fireball, very good. Most enemies will become stationary when you leave the room, but Mimics won't, together with a couple of others. Well, in our community, we kind of frown upon killing ourselves on the jelly fight, and we only count the actual, jelly kill as an actual kill. I believe they also made some other categories now where killing yourself on the jelly is allowed, but for the any percent that we're running now, that we generally, well, we don't accept that. So Zack will do everything he can. Like, again, if he won't get the items that he needs, then he won't be able to do it. But he will definitely attempt to kill the jelly. the actual way. Spark Staff, that is amazing. That is one of the strongest weapons. Well, throughout the entire cave, not so much for the final boss, but throughout the entire cave, that Artie can equip. So the reason why you picked Artie is because Artie is really fast. He has a pretty good movement, like spell pool, and he like his equips are pretty good. And he can equip deadly rods and fatal pick. So he's an all-around really decent character. Maxim, because you need to have Maxim. Maxim is a bit of the, you know, good at everything but not amazing kind of guy. And then Guy and Decker, they are the two main tanks. But Decker also has this unique weapon, which is called the Decker Blade, and that is the one item in the cave that you're looking for, because that will allow you to deal 50% of the current HP of a monster. Of a monster's HP in damage. There we go. So for the jelly that has 9980 health or 10k, it will deal approximately 5000 damage. So as you can imagine, that is amazing. So these are the cores. These cubes here, they are the cores. They have a really high chance of running away, and of course the first one stays. They are like the metal slimes. They give an absolute huge amount of experience. I gotta watch my language here. I'm Dutch after all. So as you can see, he's getting a load of levels. We'll bring him up to level 9, which is a really good level at this point. Personally, I always like to go for at least 2 red cores, but 1 is definitely a really good start so far. Oh, there's another one. Let's hope he gets lucky again. Yeah, Decker just has a lot of health, a lot of attack power, and then also his, his Decker Blade. It just makes him an amazing character. Probably the best character in the game, honestly. Well, SNES is actually muted, because otherwise we would have trouble with delay and that kind of stuff. It's nice to see so many familiar faces in chat. Definitely a shout out to the Asia Cave community. Always around. Really cool guys. He's definitely looking for more items than that core over there, and I cannot fault him for that. Another thing that he really wants to pick up now, like he has the weapons, right? He has a couple of spells, so that's all looking good and dandy. But he doesn't have a healing spell yet, so he really wants to find a healing spell, because potions only get you that far. Yes, he has a fatal pick. Well, Fire Ring, that's more like a utility item, and he has the Spark Staff. So it's looking pretty decent so far. 13 floors in, or 12. I'm not entirely sure where we are. It's actually looking really good. Hi chat, I see you. So one of the things that is actually, floor 11, 12 now. It was at floor 11. He got a lot of cores on 11. So between 11 and 13 are the floors where the cores appear. So every monster has like a set floors where they appear, basically. That is a Berserk Blade, and I really hope he doesn't equip that, because that is a weapon that is cursed, but it actually has a somewhat like decent attack power, but you really don't want to accidentally equip it. So it's really easy to just click strongest at everyone and then accidentally equip it. Yeah, and another thing I see in chat, the iris items. I wasn't going to mention it because I have a history with certain iris items. There are 9, and if you count the trophy for killing the jelly, 10 specific items that have no value or purpose in the game. They're basically just collectibles, and they are called the iris items. So yeah, if you pick up an iris item, you always start thinking that could have been my Decker Blade, that could have been my healing spell. You do not want to pick up any of those in a setting like this. I mean, if you go for the actual iris percent run, you know, then you definitely want to find them. But Zack absolutely does not want them right now. And another core. Did he find like 6 stacks of cores or something? That is insane. But he doesn't even want them anymore, I think. You know, only up to A point. That's champion. That's a healing spell. But only up to a certain point, they are worth spending your time and mana on. Probably because he already got a bunch of them, so he doesn't need experience anymore. That's a personal decision that I can understand in you know, actual PB attempt. But I'm not gonna, you know, badmouth Zack's plans here. He's generally a better runner than me anyway, so I believe in him. Yeah, it basically is. I think he's like level 11 or something. That went too fast for me. And at level 11, you know, killing a core brings you to 12, and it's so marginal. It's not really worth it anymore. Between floor 32 and 34, I will encounter the blue cores, hopefully. So yeah, a little bit of a drought on the major experience grinds. But that should be fine. So this is floor 15, and floor 15 is interesting because it has an entire new set of items that can drop. Along one of them is the Decker Blade, so it would go even more out of his way to pick up items now. In the top right corner there's a healing bush, he spots it too. And he makes sure that we saw it too. So you can spot that bush because it kind of looks like somebody, you know, stepped on it. It's like a completely flat bush instead of a normal, yeah, bushy bush. That sounds like a good explanation, right? Yeah, the speedrun strats for Ancient Cave are kind of interesting. A lot is kind of the same as you would want to do in a normal run, if you're aware of it. You know, get the Decker Blade or find the Gades Blade, that kind of stuff. Find good equipment, spells, healing spells. But you much more. You think a lot more like, do I want to fight this enemy or do I not want to fight this enemy? So the strats, you can definitely use these strats in just your normal playthrough. This is a bit of a tricky fight, but you can use these strats in a normal playthrough. I would definitely say defeat a couple more enemies just to be more safe and pick up a couple more chests. But you know, if there's a treasure room like just now, where there's a room with a lot of enemies and a lot of chests at the same spot, you know, if there are dangerous enemies in there, don't dip in there, you know. But sometimes the stairs can also spawn in there, or it's on the other side of the room. There's a door that has the stairs behind it, that kind of stuff. So far, not very interesting enemies. I always, like, whenever I am running, it always feels that, like, at floor 21, suddenly the game really, or the game really ramps up in enemy health and the damage they deal and that kind of stuff. It's kind of tame right now. Like they can still deal damage, but it's somewhat tame now. But then once you you encounter the snakes and the bees, that's where the real damage comes in, basically. And I'm always a bit another healing bush there, or healing tile under the bush. I mean, I'm always a bit aware when I get towards the floor at 21. Okay, do I have everything I want, and do I have everything equipped and that kind of stuff? Because it can get really hectic really fast. These green zombies that you see standing around, as far as I know, they have a completely unique AI, as in not a single other sprite uses that AI. They always want to walk towards the door. They don't walk towards you or towards other enemies or follow the wall or walk randomly. No, they just walk towards the door and then they just camp in front of the door. That's all they're doing. So they can actually, they're quite fast, so they are quite they can be quite annoying. Yo, Mies. Yeah, these orcs standing around here, they're not much value. Experience is pretty mediocre, and it can deal quite some damage. So he does well to avoid them. They're kind of lazy. They don't walk very fast, but when they walk, they just run towards you. That is like the third or the fourth treasure room. That is insane. In a hundo, where you basically kill every monster and grab every chest and check every room, you really don't want this as a start. You lose so much time on these rooms. But better to get them all out of the way now, now that the rooms are still somewhat peaceful, than, you know, around floor 80, 90, where the enemies are much stronger than you are. That is a curse lifter. That is actually really good. So what I explained earlier about the deadly weapons and stuff, yeah, the curse lifter will take them off for you, which is really helpful for the jelly fight if he finds a deadly rod or a deadly sword. And otherwise, at any point that he deems necessary, he can equip the fatal pick. Thankfully, he has the spark staff, so that's actually a really good weapon, and definitely for the first 50 floors more consistent than a fatal pick, honestly. So he isn't being forced into equipping that anytime soon, which is good. So one thing I haven't explained yet, or not into detail, you have an HP bar, you have a mana bar, and then you have the IP bar, or the Ikari points, if I'm not mistaken. So your weapons and your armors, or most weapons and armors and rings, etc., they have special abilities to them. They basically have a spell on them, where they can deal more damage to a certain enemy, or they can heal you, or they can revive you, or that kind of stuff. So, but you can only use those after you've been damaged. So you need to take damage, then the bar fills up, and then you can use that special ability. And then it depends on the ability whether it takes, you know, a little bit of IP or the entire bar, for example. So in the case of the Decker Blade, for example, it takes the full 100%. But he doesn't have to worry about that anytime soon. Well, mostly because he doesn't have the Decker Blade yet, but you know. Yeah, I'm good on commentary. I'm good. I guess it's not a good idea to have you hop in halfway through, but I'm good, man. The run is pretty chill so far, so that's really nice. I might have to mute for a second somewhere during the run and grab myself a glass of water, because apparently I forgot to bring one. So was a bit silly. So these enemies are kind of meh to fight. The Sand Gorons have an AoE attack that can actually do quite some damage. But Zack has a really high level and he has a healing spell, so he's doing, you know, he can just take the 2 encounters and run through. Yeah, there are also categories where you basically pick the other 3 characters, Lexus, Tia, and Selen, and it is one of the hardest categories there is, honestly, if not the hardest. Because you need such a specific setup for the jelly, and then you also need to get to the jelly. Like, that is probably the harder part. You know, whatever happens at the jelly, that's random. But you know, the only thing you have in your hands is getting to the jelly, and even then, you know, sometimes the game just flat out tells you to piss off, basically. But again, so far the run is really, really nice. A couple of treasure rooms, but nothing bad. No dangerous forced fights. There are 99 floors in total. You start at 1, and then at 99 there's the final boss. Yeah, even if you have Decker, you still need to get lucky, you know. Getting a Gades Blade and Decker Blade gets you a long way. If you don't get a Decker or Gades Blade, then, you know, it instantly adds a lot of difficulty. Yeah, there are a couple of hallways that you don't really wanna go into with snakes and stuff. So he does well to walk around. That's it. There are the stairs. So I believe I mentioned it before, but I am horrible at it. It can save a lot of time to remember where your stairs are, because, you know, there are 98 floors basically that have stairs. You need to, you know, be really aware of where your stairs are, and after a while it just blends together, and then you can spend like half a minute or a minute on just trying to find your stairs. It's the worst feeling. It's literally time that you could have not lost, you know. Yeah, not the bees. So the bees are really scary because they're 1, really fast, 2, with quite a decent amount of health, and they have an AoE attack which hurts the entire team. And their movement patterns are really, like, they look really janky, but there's actually a pattern to it. So they move in a 0-1-2-1-0 pattern. So first they take no steps, then they take 1 step, 2 steps, 1 step, and then 0 steps, and then 0 steps again, and then it continues basically. So you can somewhat manipulate them, but they will just walk wherever they want to walk. If they want to walk right twice on their 2 steps, then yeah, there's just nothing you can do. These guys like to teleport right where you want to walk. So he's actually doing well to just swing his sword and make them teleport away and then walk past them. Zack is actually playing really well. I would have made like 1 or 2 stupid movement mistakes by now. Zack is just... he's nailing it so far. He's level 13, which is a bit on the low side for the next couple of floors, because there's actually a really scary enemy. Remember how we had the red chest mimics? We also have blue chest mimics, and they are basically red mimics on steroids. However, they don't move. So if they spawn on top of the stairs and you need to fight them, yeah, like 90% of your runs will just die. So let's hope it won't happen now, of course. And that is the first death, because these chickens are actually really scary. And another fatal pick. So at this point, the extra fatal pick is useless, because only Artie can equip it. Finding a deadly sword, a real deadly sword that is, would be really good. So there are 2 deadly swords in the game. One is what we call the fake one, and one is the real one. And yeah, the fake one is cursed, but it doesn't have the instant death proc on it. So you also need to, you always need to be on the lookout to that. We can tell by looking at the description of the item. And that's how we can tell whether it's a real or a fake one. Okay, they're still good. So on the next floor, they change into Ammonites, and Ammonites are well, kind of like these chickens. They will just wipe out your entire team. But at this floor, they are still drill shells together with the cancers. So he purposely wants to farm these cancers and later on the Garbos, because they can drop an item which is called the Cancer Rock. Yeah, I'm not making this up, I'm sorry. The Cancer Rock is actually really good, because it allows you to attack twice in 1 turn, which has its uses throughout the entire run, but also definitely on the jelly. Oh, nice! Curse Lifter. That's 2 Curse Lifters. If I were Zack, like, he doesn't need to do it right now, but if he doesn't find the Deadly World, I would just equip. I would definitely equip the Fatal Pick. Depending on the next floors, and otherwise what will happen with the Assassins and the Ninjas and stuff. Stronger, nice. Excuse me. I probably have to grab a drink in a moment, because I do a lot more talking than I'm used to. How do you guys do it, man? With the commentary for multiple hours. And these evil fish, they are super deadly, but not as deadly as that enemy in the top left there that Zack is looking at right now. Thankfully, it can't have the stairs, or it shouldn't. Anything can happen. They're everywhere, dude. They're everywhere. They, yeah, you do not want to walk into them. Yeah, their name is in the game actually Evil Fish, but I like Devil Fish. Yeah, if you want to drop some, what's that emote called? You know, the praying emote. You know which one I mean. Definitely feel free to drop it in there. That is bad. He now needs to choose between the lion, 50% on the lion, or the, you know, the encounter with the blue mimic. This is dicey. I do not like this at all. That emote. Bless RNG, thank you. I haven't been on Twitch in a couple of days. I don't know my emotes anymore. That is not a blue chest. It's a bit hard to see, but it actually has a different color scheme. You know, instead of like a darker blue, it is a lighter blue, and the yellow gold color is also a bit different. And it doesn't have the same. I like to call it shine on the lid, basically. You do not want to accidentally run into those. And another curse lifter. What is happening? Is that 3 curse lifters? That one is not against the wall in front of the door, so potentially it can be on top of the stairs. That is really scary. So, oh my man, they are everywhere. Like, I'm clenching now. If you've ever fought these guys, or if you've ever ran this game, then you know how scary these enemies are. But this is the last floor that they appear on. And there's the stairs. Nice, Zack is safe. That is... And another one! I am so glad that Zack is safe, because otherwise he you know, if he wouldn't have lived, he had to basically run any percent strats to make up time. I believe that Zack's PB is somewhere in the area of 55 minutes, and as you can see, he has like 2 hours, 2 hours 10 planned for this run. And that's purely because of marathon strats. And even like I've done a couple of runs of this game myself with marathons. Even with 2 hours, it can be sketch. Like, you can be done in basically 1 hour 20, 1 hour 30. That is like a normal run. But it can also it can take like 2 hours, 2 hours 10, 2 hours 15, and there's no shame in it. If you're not finding any deadlies, then and you need to fight a lot of enemies, then you know it gets really dicey. But he is looking good at deadlies and really good at curse lifters. This run is actually really good so far. You know, he still wants to find the Decker Blade and tier 3 spells, but other than that, he's doing really good. But he has plenty of floors left to go to find the stuff he wants for the jelly. So 36 minutes, 33 floors. That is pretty decent. Whenever I'm running this in a marathon setting, I personally, yeah, thank you, Zack. I personally like to take 1 minute a floor. So at the end, you still have, you know, say 15-20 minutes spare on floors that are really tricky or that just take a lot more time. So at this point he's at floor, what was it, 33? And he is 36, 37 minutes in. That is totally acceptable. Yeah, that is actually interesting that you say that in chat. This is actually not the main game. It is definitely more like it gets more people speedrun this than the main game, but this is not the main game. Which also brings up the point that you know, the developers never had to release this in the first place. They never had to put this into the game, and then also allow you to unlock it as a completely separate game mode. You know, they really went out of the way to make this game, and I really appreciate that. It's kind of rare to see that, definitely nowadays, but also back then. I mean, how many games have a complete roguelike, you know, game in their RPG? The actual the main story is amazing. I love it. These enemies are interesting. They're the Garbos. Like I said earlier, they can drop the... Yeah, you could have attacked with your spark step there. Now I see what you mean, Zack, in chat. They can drop the Cancer Rock, which is a really good weapon, really good jewel. It's not a weapon. There you go, there's your spark step. That saves some magic. It's only minor, but it also saves some time. You know, it's just more efficient. Again, if there are any questions, definitely feel free to throw them in chat. I might miss your question There are a lot of runners in the chat now as well, so they can definitely also answer your question. Otherwise, you know, ask it again, and then hopefully I will see it. So let's hope he gets lucky. I believe, and I have a cheat sheet here. I believe it was a 20% drop rate. Yes, I was correct. A 20% drop rate to get the cancer rope. When you kill enemies, where you kill multiple enemies in a battle, and you know, multiple of them would potentially drop an item, you will only get one of the items. So, but you basically have 3 times the chance now in this case to get a cancer rope. But you can never end up getting 2 cancer ropes, for example. Why does he take the stairs moving up? That is actually a really good question. Not so much on these floors, but on later floors, there are a lot more enemies that their sprites are too wide, basically. If you take the stairs and you would spawn in the treasure room, there's a chance that you spawn inside a monster, or that the monster spawns right on top of you. If you move, when you first enter the stairs or the floor, every monster in every room will always move down, like look down, if they got an actual front, if they got an actual face. So for example, these cancers, Garbos, sorry, they do have a front, but they're a bit different. They got 2 sides, I guess. But, or I don't know exactly how to do it. Okay, so for example, these vampires, they actually have a face, right? If they would walk into your back, they have an 100% free turn on you, like they have a preemptive. If you run into their back, you have a preemptive. The size is a 50-50, but when you enter a floor, they will always look down. So if you walk down the stairs and you know they look down and they look into your back, basically, they will get a preemptive even though you couldn't even have moved. Basically the floor didn't load yet and you already got in an encounter. So on the later floors, that can just wipe you. There's nothing you could have done. If you move from down up, then it can never be a preemptive. And he got a cancer up there. That's really nice. So it is a really minor thing, but it's huge. You know, if it would happen to you, it's huge. Sorry for my bad explanation there, but I completely forgot to explain the preemptive. The radish is basically your Kexel monster, or, you know, if you want to butcher it, your Pokemon. And you can evolve them by giving them weapons that you don't want anymore. So in this case, the radish, he's Sully, and he likes to, well, not do a lot. He likes to defend a lot and basic attacks. So he has a he's pretty fast in a speedrun sense, that he doesn't do much. You know, he doesn't have fancy animations that eat up your time and that kind of stuff. But his problem for the Jellyfied is that he also likes to defend a lot. So, you know, defending against a boss that doesn't even hurt you is not that useful. So you could choose for a couple of other Kexel monsters, but they have their other advantages and disadvantages. Sully is literally chosen just for speed and probably muscle memory. I don't think Zack even thought about it. So this is Deadly Sword. This is interesting. We will see if it's the real or the fake. It is a real Deadly Sword. That is really good. Along with his 4 curse lifters, I would have equipped it instantly, honestly. And definitely for this fight. So these are the Sessions. They are the slightly weaker version of the ninja. Yes, a Session. Um, as you could see, every one step you take, they take 2 steps, and they are. They also can just 80% your character into death, like you just did. They are resistant to neutral attacks, and since Guy, Decker, and Maxim only have neutral weapons equipped, this battle is going kind of dicey. But his levels are good, so he isn't in too much danger. Maybe Guy has like a Thunder X or something. I'm not entirely sure what he has equipped. But he seems to deal a little bit more damage than just neutral damage. Or the resistant neutral damage. Yeah, there's actually also a randomizer for the Asia Cave, or for Lufia in general. For Lufia 2, that is. And yeah, we played alone. That is kind of unlucky. That it was swinging in the door for the, hoping that they would walk towards the door. And then nothing showed up, and he walks through the door, and then suddenly, boom, sessions. It's a bit unlucky. I always hate it when that happens. Yeah, the weapons are kinda mediocre, yeah. Fatal Pick is good, and Deadly Sword is good, and what's it called? I completely forgot its name. The fire staff that he has right now. I completely forgot its name. I haven't touched this game in a little while. I don't remember my items. The Magic Bikini, very interesting item, very important. Nobody can equip it though. I'm not entirely sure why you want to explore more on these floors with more assassins. I prefer to just skip these floors instantly. They only appear between 37 and 39 anyway. So if I can help it personally, I just skip the floors immediately. I don't even go around and look for more items. Rockbreaker is a semi-decent weapon though. Yeah, you don't know. You don't want to fight that guy. If you can help it, you don't want to fight him. That's the same room, yeah. Okay, so... Oh, wow. Yeah, even more? More? This is unlucky. What he is doing here, he pulls them all through the door so he can get a guaranteed 50% side attack on them. So he has a 50% chance to get a preemptive. Level up your bravery stat until you can equip the Magic Bikini. I like that. I like that idea. I always like to joke, and I'm probably not the only one, I probably stole it from someone. I always like to joke that the Decker should equip it. Who knows? Who knows? Yeah, the ninjas and the assassins, they can actually drop a Misto jewel, but it's like a 2% drop or something. It's really rare, but it gives a lot of agility. So it's actually, it's a bit bittersweet. But if you, they keep hitting the deadly. Come on, dude, stop hitting the terminal blow. Whenever I'm using my deadlies, they always miss, but whenever they're using them... And the last dude... He got a preemptive on all of them though. That is actually lucky. Yeah, in an 80%, this is... Yeah, this is really what you don't want to see, because this just costs 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Plus that in a normal 80% attempt, you're way lower level with less equipment, most likely. sometimes you don't even have a healing spell yet, and then most of the time either you lose so much time or, you know, they just wipe you. And another curse lived there. Sure, game. So a few months ago, most of our runners were just getting curse lifters left and right. Usually it's like one of the most valuable items, and then like a bunch of runners had runs like this one where you just get 4, 5, 6 curse lifters, and yeah, it's looking good. There's some curse lifters for Zack. But, you know, would rather get miracles. Miracles are basically the... Ooh, there's the deadly one. Miracles are basically your elixir with a phoenix down in it. They would just completely revive you, heal you up, give you magic, just everything. This is a nice conga line we got going on here. Who knew that the shadows were that good at doing the conga line? And another one. He's finding just as many assassins as he's finding curse lifters. It's a sign, clearly. I will personally equip the deadly sword for sure. He still has the phoenix. It's not phoenix staff. The fire stick on Artie. So he doesn't need to equip the deadly rod, even though I probably would, honestly. Artie is faster than Maxim, and Artie can actually outspeed most enemies at this point. So if you will equip it deadly, it's definitely like it holds more value to equip it on Artie. But in this case it's different because you already got a really good weapon for the Spark Staff. There we go. There we go. I've only ran this game for like 1,000 hours. Don't worry about it. Yeah, it's now called Fire Stick, exactly. So there's like I like to call it a fake Hedora. I believe they're actually called Hedoras, but they don't do the Hedora rock. And Hedora probably comes from Hydra, right? And these samurai are jerks. They're real jerks. But the Hedoras are jerks too, because they do actually a lot of damage. So he needs to move down, all the way down, and then move up, so Zack can get the guaranteed back attack on them. You do not want to attack them face first, basically. I didn't submit Iris percent. Kappa. So of course his deadly had to miss, and when your deadly misses, this happens. So thankfully he has 2. If both the deadlies would have missed, then he was in a world of pain. What happened to True Hundo? Nothing. Flying Blow is a decent weapon. It's good against the well, as it says, the flying enemies. It's just moderately good against dragons, but there are enemies like the crows and that kind of stuff. It's pretty good against them. I do miss the Iris runs too, honestly. Yeah, so I guess, you know, at this point we're fighting cores, and we know how cores work. They give a lot of experience. We want the green ones, we don't want the red one. So I will explain a bit about the Iris percent. Remember how I explained that you need to collect the 10 items? The thing is, 9 of them are incredibly rare. and it can, well, I don't want to boast or anything, but the world record is 12 hours now, and at the same time, my longest finished run was 30 hours, so it can be anywhere. It can take you anywhere between theoretically 3 hours to or 2 hours, all the way up to like 2 days, 3 days, 4 days. It's random whether you get them or not. So far, Zack is not finding any of them, so that's pretty good for him. All I can say is don't. Just don't. Just don't. Yeah, a manipped Irish percent run? Oh, wow! I don't know. Okay, that was interesting. I don't know if you guys saw that, but 3 of his characters are literally 1 experience away from leveling up. That is so funny. And another Curse Lifter. Why not? Is that 6? 7? That is also as many treasure rooms as he has had. Which is not per se a bad thing in this setting. Definitely not with all these cores around, but the samurai are kinda annoying. Yeah, I don't even know what kind of items he wants to curse lift at this point. You know, he is a fatal pick, and a fatal pick, and a deadly rod, and a deadly sword, and he fed the berserk blade. So what else does he want to curse lift at this point? He's getting some nice experience here, though. This is definitely the point where you want 1 or 2 greens. Absolutely. Level 29 at this point is really decent. Because after this, you will encounter ninjas, and ninjas, they are basically like the blue mimics. They, whenever they feel like it, they will wipe your team. They have 2 attacks, or a team-wide attack. They're incredibly fast, same movement pattern as the assassins, and an instant death. So they are completely loaded with abilities and damage. They're just not pleasant. So any level you can get from the green course or even blue course at this point is really appreciated. Already missing half of his deadlies is pretty reasonable. So these skeletons, they're not really skeletons, they're called bone golems. Yeah, not golems, but golems. Definitely not a typo, don't worry about it. They are kind of trolling him by standing near the stairs. And then of course the teleporter had to teleport in front of him. Ooh, this could be the dream. 4 green cores, let's go. Ah, 3 of them. I would take it. I would definitely take it. Is this run not valid if you don't get at least 1 iris item? Well, yes. You need the jelly trophy. So I guess yes. If you're talking about iris helmet and iris sword and that kind of stuff, then no. So it depends on how you look at it. But yeah, again, we don't want to see any iris items in this run because they have no value. You can't equip them. They don't give you gold that we can use anyway. But they're just collectibles. And the worst thing when you collect them all, there is exactly 1 lady in the town that has a chase dialogue. And that's what you do it for, right? course the bone gorm had to move. And of course he had to turn around. The classic. I know, real. It should just be called the Irish jelly, and then, you know, everything would be fine. Nobody would complain anymore. The Irish jelly. Yeah, so it's really interesting. Like it's a good point that somebody in chat brings up. You know, the game might seem a bit slow in terms of movement and that kind of stuff. You know, it's not as flashy as, for example, in the Super Metroid, but there's a lot of, you know, a lot of thought goes into this run while you're running it, and it's basically, it combines, you know, your standard RPG with what I would almost call chess. You know, it's the way some enemies are moving. You really need to figure out, okay, if I take a step there, what does that enemy do? And then you need to think ahead 4, 5, 6 steps ahead, basically. And that also differentiates a runner from Zack with me, for example. That he sees that a lot faster and he makes less mistakes in it. But then you also have, you know, your magic management and your item management, and you know, do I pick up more chests, which costs me more time but might give me that one item I want, or do I leave that one chest over there? You know, you need to think every step that you take, basically. And I do not say that lightly. You basically have to think every step you take, and one step can literally end your run. So. Yeah, it's a completely different kind of difficult, and that is one of the things that you know that has always interested me in it. So I'm not a great gamer, you know, but I'm still able to run this game, which is just really cool. But you need some determination, you know. Sometimes you just can't PB for 6 months, even though you have had like 10 PB-based runs, and then suddenly you PB 4 times in a row. It just happens, you know. So you need some patience and determination. But other than that, it's an amazing speedrun. And the menus of this game, oh, they are awesome. They are. I've also ran a little bit of Mystic Quest. I don't know if there are people in the chat that have played Mystic Quest. If you compare the Mystic Quest menus with this game menu, this game is instantly responsive. Like it's oh, the tree standing on top of the stairs. I hope Zack is seeing that. But this game's menus are amazing. It's so good. Yeah, he does not want the club helmet. So feeling is tricky in this game, especially in the you know, the NA version, the US version. Basically, Sully will ask for weapons of a certain value or items of a certain value. And then when you give him that one item, then, you know, he likes that a lot, and then he will eat it. But sometimes, because this game has no glitches whatsoever, he will ask for food, but he won't actually eat it. So whenever, you know, in that box, whenever it blinks, that means that you have the item, then you can feed it to him. And then he says, yeah, yuck, I don't want it, go away. So the way it works is that you basically first want to give him all the low value items, and then slowly you want to bring it up. that's like the most efficient way of feeding him, which is honestly quite difficult, because you need to know the exact monetary values of every item, which is basically taken straight from the main game. So if you've never played the main game, yeah, you might not know which items are worth a lot. And even after all these hours I've played it, I still don't know it. Sully is basically in second form now. He evolved once, and it looks like Zack is trying to get him to his third form. Which is, in my opinion, definitely a good moment to do that. But the menus in this game, man, they are so satisfying. Like, I think there are more runners and maybe viewers even that can agree with me that a good menu is so incredibly sexy to look at. He might not realize that a tree is standing on top of the stairs. Unless I saw it wrong and he's standing on top of a skull. Yeah, he's standing on the stairs. It's a weird position to actually see the stairs up to that top wall. Doesn't happen too often. Why is the Sully the preferred capsule monster? Because he likes to not do a lot. He doesn't have many fancy animations, he defends a lot, he's slow, so he doesn't eat up a lot of time. And in terms of the actual jelly fight, he actually has, if he decides to attack, he can actually deal quite some damage. So these are the ninjas, and they are probably like the second or the third deadliest enemy. Maybe fourth, something like that. Top 5 for sure. Deadliest enemy in the cave. You do not want to fight them. Thankfully, he got the side attack on them, so he could kill them all in one turn. That's a lot of people watching Lufia. That's amazing. You guys can give yourself a pat on the back. Thank you all for being here and giving Zack your support. Because, yeah, if you've run this game, you know how volatile this run can become. You know, the first half is somewhat decent, except for the blue mimics and the ninjas, basically. But after that, it will, like almost every floor will have at least one dangerous enemy. So these Prince lizards, these blue lizards here, they're really good. They don't really do a lot of damage. They have an ability that they only very rarely use that will deal more damage. But they can drop a twist jewel, which is a well, originally blue treasure item, but it's a jewel that will increase your speed by a lot. These plants attack 3 times, so they will always attack the same target until the target is dead. So if they would have attacked Artie or Maxim, they would have been dead. So the Sully and Decker is actually probably the best situation in this case. The plants also don't have a front or back to the sprite. They don't have faces either. I don't like to stick to other enemies, so you can somewhat manipulate that. Yes, there are Discord. There's a Discord to the Ancient Cave. I see that Real Critical wants to send it out, and otherwise you can definitely send me a PM and I will give you the link after the run. Always looking for more runners, and everybody is always really friendly and helps you out. Kind of makes fun about fun of your runs. But it's always good stuff. I don't even know what these guys are called, Tartonas or something. They are not that scary. They're just too wide, and they like to block hallways and that kind of stuff. Ah, that was a mistake, Zack. So these birds, they move opposite to what you do. So when you take one step to the right, they take one step to the left. However, there's a minor glitch that Zack could have used, where basically you swing your sword, but the bird will still move. The cockatrice will still move. It's a minor glitch. Basically, it has to do with your turn button, which is the R button. You holding a directional button and then swinging your sword. It's a really easy minor glitch, but a nice little way to manipulate these specific movement patterns. The ones that are completely opposite to you, or the 90% opposite of yours. Yeah, we're getting close to floor 50. These are definitely one of my least favorite floors, because there are a lot of teleporting enemies that all have a slightly different pattern to how they teleport, and it's they can just snipe you from the other side of the room. They are really, really awful. But Zack is looking really, really good on levels. I know I've mentioned it before, but he is doing really well. If he doesn't make any big mistakes, he's definitely looking good for the next 20-ish floors. Well, floor 20 might not sound like much, but at floor 21, basically, with the snakes, and then 24-ish with the bees, the difficulty actually ramps up a lot. So, in my opinion, as weird as it sounds, the 20 floors and the 30 floors are actually really difficult compared to some of the. Well, compared to the last 10 floors, for example, between floor 72 and 87, you have a lot of archfiends and genies and just really horrible monsters. But after that, it's you have one teleporter and dragons, so it's really easy. Dragons just take one step every third step you take, kind of like these bears here and the Hedoras here. So they, the last 10-ish floors, they are much easier than floor 20, in my opinion. Yeah, that's good. That's the Thunder Bear. I believe the real name is Thunder Beast, but I know Zack and myself as well. We just like to call them the Thunder Bear. They are like hidden OP. They have an incredibly strong attack that you rarely ever see, because why would you fight them? They don't drop anything good, and they're easy to manipulate, so why would you fight them? This game is great, and this is like I said at the start, this is an optional game mode for the entire Lufia game. Definitely play the main story as well. The main story, the main game is amazing. It's absolutely amazing. When you first casually play it, think 15-20 hours, your standard RPG time. 25 hours, something like that. And then you boot up the ancient cave, and then you never leave. They would just chuck hundreds and thousands of hours into the ancient cave. Floor 55, you might want to go for some of the Hedoras. The Hedoras have they drop an item which is called the Hidora Rock. And the Hidora Rock will he is really missing a lot of deadlies. Will boost your agility, and it has an ability that allows you to attack 3 times in 1 turn. So, hey, there we go. Nice. So he probably wants to equip that on Artie now, because Artie is the fastest, so especially with a deadly, he can just snipe most enemies before they get a turn. So glad that he decided to put it on Artie. He might even go for another one, just for the agility's sake. But I don't think he should. I wouldn't, anyway. Regain just revives, not much amazing about that. These birds in the top right corner, they are called the Sefako. Thankfully that guy is locked in by the bushes there. Sefakos will attack 3 times, so they're incredibly fast. They're just really nasty. Like I said, at this point, most stuff is in some way dangerous, and in some way will just make your life miserable. I see a chat message from Zach. Let's see what that's about. Another curse lifter, perhaps? Yep, another curse lifter. That is insane. I have never seen this many. 6 curse lifters. I have never seen that many curse lifters. That's a first for me. Even in a hundo. Like in a hundo, how many times I've not found a single curse lifter in an entire hundo? And then this guy, it's just a normal run, you know, you find 6 of them. So he's actually, this is really good what he's doing. He's pulling the bird to the left, if the bird wants to go to the left. Then he will walk around, because right now, the bird won't move, because he's off screen. He will walk around, walk into this hallway, and then go to the stairs. That's actually really good. It takes a little bit more time, but it's actually really good. Strong is the weakest healing spell, but it's also the most mana efficient. So it's actually probably my second favorite healing spell out of the 5. Definitely a great pickup. Or 6, I guess, if you want to count poison. Poison is just, you know, your average antidote. That bird doesn't look like he can move to the right. That crow. But it looks like he has to go in there unless I miss the stairs. Who made this game? I know Natsumi and Taito, and I don't know who really made the game. Either one of those. And who actually owns Lufia nowadays? No idea. I've heard from some people that Square owns the entire Lufia franchise now, but they haven't done anything with it at all. So Lufia's pretty dead, sadly. This is definitely the best game out of the 4. This is the second game. The first game was also for the SNES, but it's quite rough. I haven't played it myself yet, but from what I've heard, it's a bit rough to play. Then you get this one. The third one was for the Game Boy, if I'm not mistaken. One of the Game Boys, and then the fourth one was for the Advance. Yeah, it might be something like that, that Natsumi is the dev and Taito the publisher, or the other way around. I'm not sure. Right, there are 5 games. And another curse lifter. We don't talk about the 5th game. The 5th game, yeah. That's a remake of this game, but they turned it into like an action action platformer, whatever RPG thing, and not a lot of people enjoyed it, and definitely not us purists. Lufia 2 was developed by Neverland. It's interesting because in the intro they don't, you know, have their logo of Neverland in there. Seven? I think 7. Yeah. Yeah, last time was 6 and I had never seen 6, so this must be 7 then. Magic skill is actually really good. It increases your... it has a pretty good IP, I believe, something with restoring magic fully or something, if I'm not mistaken. But it also gives you agility. And maximum for sure, and I believe that Ari can equip it too. So that's actually a good pickup. Like anything with agility, I personally think agility next to health are the most important stats. So anything with agility is always worth it. Destroy, yeah, that is something we don't need anymore. Destroy is your instant death spell, but it's only a 50% chance rather than 80 on death weapon. That is a really nasty room. If he needs to go to the left, that would be horrible. These red salamanders, you do not want to fight them. They have killed me many times. Curse lifters are not common. Nuh-uh. It's not uncommon to just, you know, 5-6 runs in a row, not get a single curse lifter, then you get 3 of them, but no deadlies. You know, it's to actually get 2 deadlies and 2 curse lifters at the same time is quite rare in a normal any percent setting. Obviously, he's picking up more chests during this run for marathon safety, because you know, the ultimate goal, because you can't save, the ultimate goal is to get to the jelly. If he would die now, then yeah, it's end run, you know. But 461, that is he's a bit behind to where I would put myself at this point. I don't know if he realizes that himself. But he's definitely not running out of time or anything. What situation do you need 7 curse lifters for? I can't think of any. I cannot think of any. 4 dark mirrors, that would be the dream, dude. You know, 3 deadlies and a reject hundo and the 4 dark mirrors. Let's go. He got a magma rock drop, I believe. It's just a tech up, probably some death up or something. It's nothing important. I don't think Zack even equipped it. Probably didn't realize or he forgot about it. I don't blame him either way. But yeah, again, just to recap for the people that that came in later, Zack does everything is randomized, except for the monster's health and the movement patterns and such. Every red chest, every blue chest, everything is randomized. Floor layouts are randomized. How many of a specific enemy is there is randomized. Stair location is randomized. So everything is randomized, basically. So Zack doesn't know what certain floors will look like, or where the stairs are going to be, or what he will encounter in the next couple of floors. So he needs to route on the, you know, on the go. Zack is not talking because he's a bit sick. I just heard him in Discord before this run, and yeah, it's a good thing that he asked for an extra well, ask me for commentary. Yeah, his voice would be completely shot after this. And why are we not commentating together? That will be the follow-up question. Because of delay. You know, he would commentate live, obviously, and I'm just as you guys watching with a bit of delay. So he would say, "Hey, I found an item," and you know, on my screen he would still be at the previous chest. Yeah, Zack is pretty cool. These Gorms you see here, they are the gold Gorms. They are incredibly strong. Do not want to fight them. Thankfully, they are pretty easy to manip. They just, you know, spin right round like that. And whenever they see you, they move towards you. So if you stay far enough away, or you pull them away from a certain door or hallway or whatever, you can manipulate them pretty well. Generally, you do not want to fight them. Ancient Cave on the dance pad? Already done that. Boring. Yeah, so I finished Ancient Cave on the dance pad. I don't want to talk too much about myself, but chat keeps bringing it up, of course. I finished the Ancient Cave, killed the jelly on the dance pad in 4 hours something. So yeah, that's a thing, you know. If you want to run this game on the dance pad, you can do that. I don't know why, other than maybe losing weight or something, you know, getting the cardio in. But I was basically, yeah, I'm not in the best of shape at the moment. But I was tired of half an hour, and I kept going for like 4 hours. I will actually refresh my my stream for a moment, just to make sure I'm not desyncing. Good call in chat. So he's going for his last feeding session, hopefully. Hopefully he can get Sully to the 4th form, which is the form that we all know and love. Which is the... well, I won't spoil it, you will see. He has a magic fruit, which is really good. The magic fruit actually will actually give a lot of feeding points to Sully. Yes, 7 curse lifters. Sadly, we haven't seen a Decker Blade yet. So that is the big thing that is basically... oh, 2 Magma Rocks even. That is bottlenecking us right now. We would really like to see a Decker Blade at this point. Preferably together with like a Gades Blade or a Sky Sword or something. Laser Blow, you know, there are a lot of different items. Yep, there we go. It's the Easter Island head face thingy. Squidward's house. There you go. Decker Blades can spawn from floor 15 all the way to the end. On floor 60, which we already passed, I forgot to mention it, the Myth Blade also starts dropping, and at 50, the Old Sword, which are 2 other really good fractional weapons. But we haven't seen anything yet, sadly. So there's another form to Sully, which you can only get by feeding him, well, Sully specifically, the Breeze Fruit. It basically turns him into a centaur. But Breeze Fruits are kind of hard to get. Nice blue chest with a Myrick Plate. That's actually a really good pickup. It's good for Maxim. Gives a lot of defense, so it's just a good pickup. It's not a Gades Blade, but I can never complain about a Myrick plate. This dragon is camping the stairs. This is not Final Fantasy. I guess it looks a bit like these, older RPG Final Fantasy style games, but it's a completely different series, and also a different game mode. I guess this is more like your, like a roguelike game, more like Rogue or NetHack, or more recently recent The Binding of Isaac. We can more this mode specifically compare it to that. It's basically, RPG and Binding of Isaac together, if you will. Dungeon crawler, that will be a good term, yeah. Thank you. A cursed bow. That was the item I forgot to mention when talking about cursed items. Cursed bow is also one. When you curse with the cursed bow, it turns into Artie's bow, which isn't really exciting at all. Another magic skill. Nice. It's not. No, it's not a Zelda clone. Not really. No. It's turn-based. For example, the movement is turn-based. It has more to do with like Final Fantasy than Zelda, in my opinion. The older Final Fantasies, that is. Healing tile. Zack isn't interested. So this is a bit of a tricky room. These genies will come charging at you when they see you. You can also manipulate them somewhat easily, but you really need to pay attention to what you're doing. Anyway, this is floor 73. Archfiends. Yeah, let's not summon them, so we're not gonna talk about them. Basically, Archfiends are the biggest run killer. There is one. They are the biggest run killer in the game, which is really nice this late. The main story of this game has a lot of puzzles. A lot of puzzles. Yes, absolutely. But in this, in the ancient cave, we don't have any puzzles. Well, I guess every floor, every monster is a puzzle in itself. But oh no. Okay, what is Zack gonna do? Unless he gets the dragon in a favorable position, that is not what he wanted to do. He basically has to kill this dragon and then pull the Archfiend around the chest, and then also get rid of the genie. But this isn't really what he wanted to do. Thankfully, the destroy is missing on everyone. I've seen the destroy hit 4 out of 5. Thankfully, he left one of my characters alive. It's like, whenever you see that destroy, you always clench a bit. But this is probably not what he wanted to do. So let's see how we will deal with it. I would definitely pull the Archfiend around the chest, then deal with the genie. He probably has to kill the genie. That is not how you wanted to do it. Well, I'm glad he's running and not me, so I can judge him, and he can judge me, That's how we do it. Easter Island head, yes, he does have a headbutt, and he has, what is it called? Like some kind of earthquake. I forgot what it's called. Yeah, they're basically like your AI Pokemon, if you want to get really not technical. Fry is an holy spell, the first holy spell we've seen so far. It's pretty good pickup. It's a bit late. Would have preferred to see the stronger holy spell Zap, but it's still a good pickup. Battle Anger, thank you, that's another word. I haven't played this game in like a month and a half, 2 months, and I just don't know anything anymore. Maybe it has to do with, you know, being at half past 1 in the morning. But this room is a big noob. This entire floor is one big noob. Okay, it's only one Archfiend. That is somewhat lucky. As you can see, that will deal a lot of damage. Just Gloomy in the basic attack. That's really good. The deadly misses, of course. These Ice Rogues are also dangerous, but they are substantially less dangerous. Nice headbutt. Sully MVP. I'd like the strategy of healing with Maxim. Better safe than sorry, but a deadly hit anyway. Very, very bad floor, this one. Really bad. Zack is super happy he found the stairs. As you can see from his sword swings. Mr. AP is a decent pickup, but he already has an Uncursed Deadly Sword, so that's probably better than the Mr. AP will be. Mr. AP can be equipped by Artie and Maxim. It's like a medium tier weapon, medium strength, but its IP attack would deal triple normal damage. So it's good as, you know, in turn 3 as a killer rather than the fractional, as the finisher basically. At the boss, that is. Yeah, these enemies have so much health now that you know, in the 1,000, 2,000 health is not uncommon. You do not want to fight them with normal weapons anymore. At this point, you basically just rely on movement and deadlies, and maybe like sleep balls, that kind of stuff. Freeze balls, you know, you name it. Other than that, it's definitely deadly all the way. These are Orkies. They attack 8 times for an absolute crazy amount of damage. And they have the highest HP in the game, and how much that is exactly, you gotta excuse me for that, but I believe it's 3,800 or something, 2,800. I don't remember exactly. It's too much. 2,800. It's yeah. Does that say enough? Yeah, this is a mini game of the actual mini game. That's the Decker Blade. There we go. Nice. The point of this run is to you start with basically nothing at level 1 with 10 potions. You need to go to the final boss at floor 99. Then you need to kill him. That's the entire run of this. But along the way, you need to pick up items, kill monsters, find certain weapons, healing spells, or attack spells. You know, you name it. And then you try to do that as fast as you can. Smoke Ball is good. That's a guaranteed escape. Provided that the enemies aren't faster than Artie is. So that is actually a good pickup for dragons in a couple of floors. So I don't think he is going to be able to outspeed Archfiends at any point in this run, unless he finds, I don't know, like a twisty wall at this point, but I don't think that would even be enough. So, but it's always nice to see Smoke Ball, at least 1 or 2. It's amazing. Yeah, Guy has a Hedora Rock. I don't know what the strongest weapon on Guy is right now. Trick would be a good spell. Trick basically boosts your Trick boosts your attack power by 20%. So that would be a really good pickup. I think he does have a mini shield, but I'm not sure where he would end up using the actual mini shield. The mini shield has Battle Lust on it as an IP, and that is 40%, but it's only single target. I don't think the mini shield has a lot of value. If he even has it, I believe he does have it. I like mini shield when I pick it up, but yeah, like you guys say, you only very rarely ever use it. Providence is basically guaranteed from floor 21 onward. If you don't find it on 21, there's a really big chance you will find it on 22, etc, etc. That said, it has taken me in a hundo up to like floor 30 something just to find the Providence, so you know, I say guaranteed in quotation marks. Gorgon Rock is nice. Gorgon Rock is another factional that he really didn't need, but it might help with Guy. I don't see how, but I don't know. I don't know why he's going for the Gorgon. Just more experience, I guess. Because he actually really didn't need that with his 7 Curse Lifters. This is the Genie Dance. There are no crashes or softlocks or anything of that sort in this game. Nuh-uh. we don't mention that. No, in you know, the 900,000 hours that I've ran this game, I have softlocked like 7 or 8 times, I think. So it's not uncommon to see like one softlock every 100 hours or so. But some people play for like 300, 400 hours, haven't seen one, and other people, you know, they just get the softlock every 50 hours, for example. It happens. Softlocks can happen in multiple ways, where the floor doesn't load properly. So it's only one room, 3 by 3 big, for example, and there are no stairs, or where the entire wall is missing. These are the most common ones. There are a couple of other softlocks that are possible. These are definitely the more common ones from my experience. This game is definitely recommended. Make sure to play the... I like the main story, I really do. So make sure to play the main story first, and then just, you know, jump into the cave. And then you will never leave the cave. In my opinion, this is definitely one of the better games on the Super Nintendo. Absolutely. It's just a shame that the, you know, the actual NA version is this buggy. But myself as a Dutchie and a lot of other Dutch people, we first played this game when it was really... Ooh, like that's what I meant with walking up the stairs. Because if he walked down the stairs, then that would have been a back attack and he could have been dead. But most of us Dutchies, we played this game in Dutch when it was released. But this was one of the few games that was released in Dutch. This is absolutely why we move up the stairs and not down the stairs. Oh, is that a spoil? Oh, Zack was spoiling it. Okay. I was scared I was desynced for a moment. The translation isn't even that horrible compared to, you know, normal translations. I gotta give him that. Dutch as a language is just really cringy to you know, look at as a Dutch person. But it's not bad. No, the dual blade shrine is not glitchy in the PAL version. Not that I remember. That said, floor 99 is Not glitchy at all. You don't need to worry about it. That's definitely as intended. So yeah, let's cheer for Zack to actually get there. He's getting close. Just a couple more floors of baddies, archfiends and genies and such. Thankfully, there haven't been too many archfiends. He had one encounter? This is another one. What are you doing, Zack? Yeah, this is... Doesn't go... He does not go for the kill. I can respect that. I can respect that. Party rooms with stairs around these floors, that's a real run killer. Definitely. Zack is about 10 levels higher than you would normally be during this run. 10 to 8. So he has a lot more safety. But one step and it's over. As we saw with the genie. That if we walk down the stairs instead of up the stair, or from the upside of the stairs, then yeah, it could have been run over. Yeah, we got a Decker Blade. We have 7 Curse Lifters, plenty of deadlies to go along with it. Hidora Rock, Cancer Rocks, but no Gadies or anything. Old Armor is an amazing pickup. It's one of the best armors. I believe it has full regeneration, where it revives and heals everyone in the team, if I'm not mistaken. Plus it has some really good stats. The most important items to find during an Ancient Cave run, it kind of depends on which category you're running. If you're running with Decker, definitely the Decker Blade. Next to that, deadlies, offensive spells, and healing spells. I would say those are the most important things. Other than that, Curse Lifters together with the Deadly Rod and the Deadly Sword are really good, because they turn into fractionals for the jelly fight. Yeah, whatever other strong swords and stuff you can find. So if you find the blue chest item with the Spark Staff, for example, that Zack had earlier, that's a really good pickup, for example. If he would find, for example, Sky Sword or Gades Blade in a little bit, that would be good pickups. So there are a lot of different, in this category specifically, there are a lot of different item setups you can go with. But most of all, I would say that like healing spells and levels, those are the two, most valuable things. Uh-oh. Ice Hairband. The Decker Blade will deal 50% of the current health in damage to any enemy you use it on. And the final boss at floor 99, he has 9,980 health, so 10k. So another Curse Lifter, wow. To the jelly, that would be a good 5,000 damage, basically. So it's an amazing pickup, just for the jelly fight alone. Yep, it's a big slime. You're correct. 8 Curse Lifters. Yeah, you can't overflow the Master Jelly, but you can kill yourself. So, that makes up for it. You basically get the trigger of clearing the jelly fight, if you will, by also killing yourself. It basically means that you ended the battle prematurely, and that's how the game calculates whether you get a trophy or not. But Zack isn't going for that, and yeah, in this category we don't allow it. So these dragons, they are among the strongest enemies in the game. If they're copper dragons, they're not that bad. If they're silver or gold dragons, it's horrible. In this case, you actually had to walk down the stairs from the upside. Thankfully, it didn't throw me into a monster room. But there was no way for him to walk around. Has anyone ever killed a jelly but not have providence? Yes. Manipulator runs, I would say. After killing, like for example, now you can just toss the providence, you won't get it back until you fight with the jelly. Then the jelly gives it back to you. If you then throw it away, then yeah, you won't be able to collect your treasures at floor 0. I don't know what you see on your screen. Yeah, the jelly does give you one. Yep. Zack is just being careful. Maybe looking for like a little blow, even though I think he pretty much has a kill with its silver sword. So if we would go, this is always the point where we start fantasizing about, you know, what our setup is going to be for the jelly. So you have 3 turns to deal 10,000 damage to the jelly. So it's really important that you do it properly, right? You want to throw out your buffs and your fractionals first, and then at the end, like in turn 2 or turn 3, you want to throw out your actual main damage. Your finishers, as I like to call them, which would, for example, be the silver sword, the lizard blow, the Gades blade, that kind of stuff. Where the dagger blade and the old rod you want to use in turn 1, and perhaps turn 2. It kind of depends. But... So at this point, you know, for the people that are thinking along with us, dagger blade is the biggest fractional, so we definitely want the dagger blade in turn 1. In this game, there's also, I didn't mention it yet, but there's also a front row, back row. People in the front row deal more damage, but they take more damage. People in the back row take less damage, but they deal less damage. Except for spells. For spells that doesn't go up. So he definitely wants to use the dagger blade IP attack in turn 1, along with, for example, the old rod from Artie. So that together would be about like 6,000 damage, something like that. Then the other 2 guys, Maxim and Guy, Maxim would probably use a spell if he finds trick. Otherwise Thunder, for example, and Guy would just attack. Then in turn 2, most of the time you switch Decker to the back row, and you would just let him normally attack. And you put, for example, put whatever fractionals you've left, so the old rod, and Guy in this case in the front row, with Maxim using a spell again, and Decker just basic attacking, and then in turn 3 you use whatever you've left basically. So in this specific case, for the people that are interested, if you are a little bit familiar with this game, I would definitely equip Decker Blade, Door Rock with Strongest for Guy, Silver Sword for Maxim, and Old Rod for Artie. And then use Thunder because you don't have any trick. That would probably be my setup. If you guys have any other ideas, yeah, we don't have an old sword, sadly. We have a deadly sword, which could be combined with a cancer rock, but there's no value to that. We only have the like even in Curse, the deadly sword. Well, the IV is good, but the actual attack damage is still really terrible. Nice twist you would for whatever this is. Yeah, and another fun thing about this this game in general, and the Ancient Cave particular, is that there are a lot of different runs. Like you can speedrun this, but you can also do challenge runs where you, for example, only take 3 characters, or you take weaker characters, so suboptimal characters, you know, or where you restrict yourself to not using instant death weapons and abilities. You know, that kind of stuff. You do not want to fight this. That is a silver and a gold dragon. The silver dragon attacks twice for a lot of damage potentially, and the gold dragon attacks 3 times for even more damage potentially. So only like the gold dragon on its own could already wipe his team. Do not want. Yes, there are definitely non-AC speedruns. Yes. Which I'm particularly bad at. So don't ask me too much about those categories. It's like 4 hours, I believe, 3.5 hours, yeah, something like that. It's not too bad. It's not, you know, Final Fantasy X that takes 10-11 hours. Okay, we're at the jelly. Let's look at what we have. Circoflail. Circoflail is not terrible. I would do that together with the Hidora Rock, for sure. It looks like he agrees. Then you equip the Twist Jewel. Would that even make him faster? I will put the Twist Jewel on Decker if it makes him faster. Silver Sword Sack. There you go. All the curses are lifted, and more. Yes, 8 curse lifters. 8. What are you doing, buddy? Zack has some time to kill though, so he can take his time here. Don't even mention it. There is nothing wrong with this game. You know, Circle Flailed, Decker Bladed, Komu Armorer. My favorite is probably the Spear Sword. Like, the entire idea of a Spear Sword is just ridiculous. Yeah, Cancer Rock allows you to attack twice in a turn, but you can actually use it twice as well, because it only takes 20, or 3 times even. I believe it takes 28% IP, and Hidora takes 70 something. 14 miracles. Good luck, Zack. So take out your calculators. We need to deal 9,980 damage. Also, this floor is not glitched. I will do my calculator magic as well. I just received a Discord message that says, let me tell you, the Spear X Dot. That is an amazing weapon. The Spear X Dot. The Spear X Dude. So it should be a kill. However, if we get a really bad decker roll, then it might be a bit tricky. Because we don't have trick. It should be good. You don't want to accidentally run away in this battle. I might have done that twice. Calculators out, let's go! Ooh. I think that was a... Yeah, that was a nice roll. Also, this music is amazing. And I already messed up, I missed the number. Why is the jelly so large? Because it can. That's the reason. It's literally a magnified version of the first enemy you will fight in the entire game. Is this a 2-turn? No, it's not a 2-turn. Oh, that's a kill. That's just definitely a kill. Nice! Very good kill. So if you don't deal enough damage in the 3 turns, yeah, he won't die like that. You will just basically you do more inputs and then he would just run away. So yeah, this was the run. This is where we split basically the moment he dies. And then before I go, let me give you this: the key to the Asia cave and the jelly trophy. And then you can pick up your treasure on the floor 0. That's it. So amazing run, Zack. Like, this run didn't seem too difficult, but it can get extremely volatile really quickly. But this was amazing. So I don't know how the others are doing, but they can definitely kick me out of the live channel. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Hit me up if you want any links to Discord, that kind of stuff. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Yeah, no problem, Cyclone.